Dr. Kate, and today's talk with the doc is going to be about cat care. Our guest star today is Han Solo. This is my house cat, and he's a very, very sweet cat. He was a stray bottle baby. So if you're going to get a cat, a few things to know. So for starters, cats actually need vaccines just like dogs do. If you're getting a kitten, they need a series of 3 respiratory vaccines so they don't get serious respiratory illnesses such as calicivirus. Another vaccine to consider is the FELV vaccine or the leukemia vaccine. If your cat is going to be outdoors, it's important to give them the leukemia vaccine. That way, if they come in contact with other sick cats, they won't get leukemia virus. For the leukemia vaccine, though, it's important to test your cat for leukemia and AIDS prior to giving the vaccine. Another vaccine they need is a rabies vaccine, and this is actually a county law. Another thing to know about cats is diet. If you're going to have a house cat, they will have a tendency to get overweight. Hans is actually pretty lean because he is on a slow feeder. He was eating way too much and gaining a lot of weight, so I transitioned him to a slow feeder. That way he has to work for his food instead of just free feed out of an endless bowl. Here's an example of a slow feeder. So he has to put his little paws in there to get the food out of the puzzle to get it in the bottom of the tray. Obesity can be very serious in cats because it can predispose them to getting diabetes. Cats actually typically get type 2 diabetes, meaning they'll get diabetes from eating too much and becoming overweight. It's typically not related to genetics. It's usually related to feeding. Another thing to know about cats is they typically don't drink enough water. Cats are very snobby, and so if you have water just sitting out in a bowl that you don't change regularly, your cat will often not drink enough water. This over time will predispose them to kidney disease. It's very important to offer your cat fresh water daily, or another thing cats really enjoy is water fountains. You can get water fountains at pet stores. If you get a water fountain though, you have to make sure that you change the filter regularly, because just because it's moving water doesn't mean it won't become old and grow things and get gross, and your cat is very sensitive to anything being in their water. Another thing with these guys, a lot of people ask about flea medication. So cats, if they're going to be, especially if they're going to be outdoors, although they can still get fleas being an indoor cat, as well as heartworm. Heartworm is a parasite that will get in their blood and cause worms to grow in their heart. It's a very serious, life-threatening illness, and it's transmitted by mosquitoes, which can come in your house. So whether you have an indoor or outdoor cat, they can still get heartworm disease. For flea medications with cats, there's a variety of products, from oral products, little tablets or chewables, to topical products, to flea collars. One thing important about flea collars is if you're going to use a flea collar, if your cat is outdoors, be sure that the collar is always a breakaway collar. You wouldn't want your cat to get stuck by a collar in a tree. For topicals, it's very, very important that you only use cat-specific products. Dog products can actually cause seizures in cats. If you ever accidentally put a dog product on a cat, be sure you wash it off right away with soap and water. If your cat begins to show any signs or symptoms from the dog product, such as seizures or weakness, neurologic gait, falling over, being ataxic, then seek veterinary care immediately. For cat-specific products, the product I personally use is Revolution because it covers both fleas, heartworms, and even ear mites, which if you have an outdoor cat, ear mites are very common. Hans lives indoors, so he doesn't experience a lot of the things that cats see outside. Another thing with cats is litter boxes. If you're going to have your cat as an indoor cat, litter boxes are a big deal to cats because this is where they use the bathroom, and we prefer that they use the bathroom in their litter box and not in our houses. So if you have an indoor cat, it's recommended you have at least 1.5 litter boxes per cat. So if you have one cat, 1 litter box should be fine. Some single cats still need 2 litter boxes. But if you have more than one cat, make sure that you have the adequate number of litter boxes. As soon as you get more than one cat, you should definitely have more than one litter box. Although you can't always notice it, cats have very subtle hierarchies, and they have pheromones that they produce, and they can make the other cat feel uncomfortable and not want to use the litter box. And although you may not notice it, your cat definitely will, and you may get unwanted behavior such as urinating in your house. Urinating in the house is a big problem with cats. That's one of the number one reasons I see cats. And so with urinating in the house, it's very important to have them examined by a vet, because sometimes they're urinating in your house because they're ill and they're trying to notify you that they don't feel well, or they don't feel well enough to make it to the litter box. A lot of diseases can cause cats not to urinate in their litter box, such as arthritis when your cat gets old, kidney disease, diabetes, stones, urinary inflammation, urinary crystals. Especially male cats, they have a tendency to get inflammation of their bladder as well as urinary crystals. And this can be very serious and life-threatening if it becomes an obstruction. If your cat is obstructed, you'll notice them vocalizing a lot. They will often pee in the house inappropriately prior to becoming obstructed. They will act painful, they'll be straining to urinate, and if you do not get them seen right away, it can be very serious and it can be life-threatening. They can have potassium buildup and have cardiac arrest, and sometimes their bladder can even rupture or tear. If you think your cat is getting obstructed or is obstructed, seek veterinary care immediately. This is a very serious, life-threatening disease. Since I got hair in my mouth, this now reminded me to talk about hairballs. As you can see, if you have a long-haired cat, there will be a lot of hair in your house. Aside from your house, it's important to be aware of the hair, because particularly long-haired cats are prone to fur balls. Fur balls, you may, if you have a cat, notice that they sometimes puke them up, usually on your rug. And the reason they do that is because they get such a large amount of hair that it actually forms a clump in their stomach. It's actually good if they vomit it up, because then it can't get obstructed in their GI tract. Sometimes hairballs can actually obstruct their GI tract, and the cat needs surgery to remove the hairball out of their intestines. This can be life-threatening. You may notice your cat gagging, not wanting to eat, and feeling lethargic. One way to help reduce hairballs for both your cat and your cleaning is to brush your cat regularly. Brushing your cat will help reduce some of the shedding hair, and your cat will ingest less. Also, your furniture will appreciate it as well. So that was today's Talk with the Doc. If you would like to request a video for next week, let us know on Facebook. Bye.